Give me all your chicken sandwiches now.
Ready, set, hut, hut. Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome.
Awesome.
Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. Sorry, before Matt hit record, we were talking about Garrett robbing a Chick-fil-A for chicken sandwiches.
Yeah. He's so hungry right now.
I'm starving. He's like, there's not Chick-fil-A within 35 minutes of me.
It's true. So I was like, ooh, I could steal one on the way home if we get out of here quick enough. And then Matt's like, shut up. And it just hits play.
So we're back with another episode. We have our buy of the week. We have our sell of the week this episode. Is that all we're doing this episode?
No. Then we got blind resume.
Blind resume.
Oh, that's right. Blind resume. So let's get into it. Buy of the week. We had three options to choose from that Garrett gave us this week, and it was De'Von Achane, with the lower output and the injury. I told you so narrative is about to come out. The injury is a concussion, something everyone gets once in a while. Tua is going to come back soon, hopefully, and bring this offense back to normal. The other option is?
Yeah, we also have Darnell Mooney. Normally, this would be a guy that we would sell high on, but digging into his numbers, the target suggests it's like all of this is legit. He's 14th in the league in targets, but trade finders you can get him for a mid to late second. So if that's the case, if you can get a guy that's going to give you in targets and production, he's wide receiver 13 on the season, 14th in targets, they match up beautifully. That suggests he's going to probably keep doing this. So if you can get a wide receiver 2 for a late second, but for you, if you're a contender, he's your wide receiver 4, and that's the kind of price you're paying basically.
With bye weeks coming up, stuff like that, I think he is a nice player to target. I don't love him as a player, on a normal basis, but
sure,
they need somebody else there to catch
Kirk
passes.
Loves him for whatever reason.
We've seen Christian Kirk kind of pepper guys before, so Darnell Mooney, he must be where he must be like a professional guy. That's where he's supposed to be, on time. That's the kind of passer that Kirk Cousins is. So obviously Darnell Mooney and him are having a little connection.
It ain't Kyle Pitts, baby.
Hey, this past week was okay for Kyle Pitts, and
when you throw for 500 yards, everyone gets to eat a little bit.
It's always about, they're like, wow, 500 yards. Kyle Pitts probably had a 100-yard game. No,
just 88.
No.
I'll take it, though.
Yeah,
beggars can't be choosers at this point.
And if you watch the game, they got him involved early.
They were
very
targeting him early. Yeah.
Well, early and then wait a little bit, and then got him involved.
And then got him again. And we're back.
Well, you got to forget him out of him for a little bit, so that way the defense kind of starts backing off, and then bam.
And then who's our third option for the buys?
Zach Ertz. Last week on 2 receptions for 10 yards. I don't know.
He could have got more though, because he
could have gotten more.
He had 8 targets, and he had some other receptions that were called back for penalties. So,
better days are to come. That offense is obviously in an upswing type of with the young rookie kind of emerging in these last few weeks as a guy that's more than just a rushing threat. I think Zach Ertz does have a little bit of upside there.
It's why I liked him so much when I talked about before the season started. I was like, listen, he's very familiar with Cliff Kingsbury's offense, and there's no clear-cut number 2 here. When they got rid of Jahan Dotson, kind of put Zach Ertz really into a good spot here to be the number 2 in targets on the team.
And Ben Sinnott has been a non-factor.
Yeah, no, hasn't even been out there for the most part. Yep. And he's the perfect kind of guy to target if you have Mark Andrews, you're like, what the heck do I do here? I thought I was set at tight end, or
you don't want to throw a bunch of more assets at a tight end position. You can get him relatively cheap. Is he 36 or something?
Somewhere in that ballpark.
He's pretty old.
Yeah. Here's a 3rd round pick. Give me Zach Ertz. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, third at the most. So, but we all decided on that De'Von Achane was our buy of the week. Slides in this category after these last couple of weeks that weren't so great. Really comes in here, and you got to remember, once Tua comes in back in this offense, it really should click, because Tyreek Hill is doing bad, Jalen Waddle is doing bad,
the whole offense.
Achane's doing bad. Jalen Wright looked pretty good this past week.
He had some nice runs.
He had some nice runs out there, and
I think somebody on this show had a bold prediction about him.
What was your bullshit? I don't remember. I know we talked about Achane, so
it was me. No, I said he was going to take over that the lead role, not necessarily the most scoring, by week 5.
There you go. It's week 5.
That's week
saying.
5. Let's see what happens
Is
going
he the
forward.
lead guy now?
Just saying. I don't know.
We'll see.
He
the
seemed to be the
number one guy.
Seemed to be the leading rusher this past.
And
week.
we all know what Achane can do, right? Like how explosive it is, his burst, his twitch. He's one of the most electric players in the game. He is second in the league right now for targets for running backs. He's behind Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara of 28. He's actually tied for second with Jerome Ford with 23. So and he's obtainable right now. I went out into the Dynasty Nerds Trade Finder. I went to the Dynasty GM app and brought up the trade browser, which you can go see real life trades in real leagues. Like these are real trades. And it kind of backed up what I was thinking. Like, yeah, he is kind of a buy right now. He's obtainable. And I'd pay all this right now in just this week alone, the last couple of days, I think within the last 4 days in a PPR league, he went for Ray Davis, a 25 first, and Josh Downs.
Love it.
In a Superflex tight end premium league, the person got David Njoku and Achane for Keen Mitchell, a whole bunch of late picks, and Sam Laporta, which was nice. And then a Superflex tight end premium league, or a Superflex league, Tank Dell and a 27 first for De'Von Achane.
Ooh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. So it shows if you throw a first in there or a very solid player on top, it seems like the first and like a Josh Downs and Ray Davis, which was nice. That was the best deal in my opinion. But even that Tank Dell and 27 first for De'Von Achane.
27 is just so far away.
Dude, Jeremiah Smith.
27's got some.
That's true. All right, never mind. Terrible trade.
Somebody asked me about that earlier, like 27 first. I was like, I don't know, man. I'll try and give away that 26. He's like, wow. I'm like, oh, there's a couple of some really good players right now in that draft. It's looking we know 25 is going to be good. We know
26 has quarterbacks, though. 26 has quarterbacks.
That'll be the Arch Man year. Okay. Well, depends what kind of league you're in, but
So I just want to keep all the draft picks.
Achane right now is obtainable for a pretty decent price. You throw a first in and like some player that you don't really want to start that has a good name. Get out from under name, get in the game, son.
There you go. Done and done.
What I always say.
That's what Rich always says.
To be fair, I think he said it more than you have. So
for sure, at this point, he can have it.
It's his.
It's his.
Yeah, I mean, we're just waiting on Tua to come back here. Like Matt said, like look out for the practices. They have a bye this week, so we don't have to worry about this week. But when
which is good timing for Achane, honestly.
100%. And he's not going to play this week, so it kind of opens up the window a little bit more. But if Tua starts to practice, we know he's cleared of symptoms. If he starts to practice next week, this
whole thing could
news.
just write itself pretty quickly, I think.
Real quick, small note in between our buy and sell segment. I like to try to remind people of this. This is the time of year now that we're in the middle of the bye weeks where I love to try to look to make trades, acquiring a player that has already had their bye week and giving a player that has not had their bye week yet.
Kind of steal
an extra game.
Steal a game there.
So, be looking at trades for, don't use that as like, oh, I'm just getting him just because he's already had his bye week. But if it's a player that you like, go look at players you like that have already had their bye weeks and try to steal an extra week there.
Well, if you do it this week, it's a pretty short list.
It's not a lot, but there were a lot of teams though. The Eagles, the Lions, the Chargers. There were quite a few good teams on bye this week.
That is true. All right. What are you going to do our sell?
Sell them.
Sell them.
All right, sell of the week. We have 3
of
options. One is Alex Pierce. He just had another huge week. He looked pretty good considering he's also the wide receiver 2 on a season. So he's he's a wide receiver 2 on a season. And with Anthony Richardson possibly coming back and losing Joe Flacco, even though he's done well, he's only averaging 3.4 targets per game. And the big thing
such
with him
a low
is,
number.
I know, but he's capitalizing on every single one for a big catch and
right.
a lot
He's
of touchdowns.
opening that little box and he's kicking his way through it.
That's right.
Every time he catches a big time. Yeah, there. Pow. Kicking right through that.
So a player that like on his overall stat, you're going to go, hey, do you like when you approach a trade partner, hey, are you looking for wide receiver 14 on the year?
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to offload some, I need this or that, whatever you need. Use car salesman up, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you need wide receiver this, and then don't even give him the name.
Don't even give him the name.
Here, I'll give you Brian Robinson and Alec Pierce. Give me De'Von Achane. Done and done.
And do
Shake on it.
Oh, and get the
Shake
first. Don't forget that's another good player to kind of throw in there for the first. But like, hey, you want wide receiver 22 on the year? PPR leagues?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he's been awesome. He's caught every opportunity, like almost legitimately every opportunity he's had. He's caught. Like, good for him. That's awesome. This is just not sustainable. It's just not. You can't be getting 3.5 targets per game and expect to maintain anywhere near even a wide receiver 3, let alone a wide receiver 2. So this is like for me, such a beautiful player to sell.
Agreed, man. He is, he is the type of wide receiver that is going to be prone to ups and downs. He is just on and up right now.
It's all ups.
It's all ups right now. There are going to be some downs coming.
Yes.
So make sure to get out now before that bottom kind of drops out.
Hey, man, you interested in a player that's out producing Zay Flowers, Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, and Rashee Rice? Well, I got the guy for you. His name is AP. Adrian Peterson? No, Alec Pierce. You mean that white guy in the Colts? That's exactly who I mean.
The guy that's the 4th on the team in targets. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, those are always good sells. I mean, to the point of like, I'd be happy with the 2nd round pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I would. Yeah, I would be totally good with the 2nd round pick.
Oh, that was our sell of the week, by the way.
That was our sell of the week.
Man. That was, we didn't go through who the other guys are.
The other guys, Jordan Whittington and David Njoku. Whittington, he just had another big game. I know he was a name that got buzz in the preseason. People might be excited about him. He's a good, like, if you have a specific guy you're targeting, he's kind of that extra, like, oh, yeah, he's looking really good in this offense, blah, blah, blah. You can throw him in. We know Puka's coming back. We know Kupp's coming back. So his role is going to be gone here very, very soon.
Listen, Whittington isn't a guy that I loved coming out. His tape was just pretty mediocre.
Yep.
But the Rams really
they do make receivers better.
They have a knack for picking out guys that fit their system and fit a role that they want them to kind of fulfill, and really maximizing, I think, what a wide receiver can do in their offense. And Sean McVay's been doing this for years. I feel like taking guys, even if it was Robert Woods from Buffalo, bringing him there, kind of.
You can say that about almost any position. Yep. He does it at running back. He does it at quarter. Like he just gets the best out of his play.
Whittington had a great dive and sideline catch this week too. He looked.
And that's the thing. Like
tough.
He's already shown more in the NFL than I ever saw on tape. So this guy just got better, and it's something we talk about every now and again. Like when we're evaluating these guys, sometimes we don't leave room on the top. You know what I mean, to get better. And Whittington has
been doing it.
Yeah. Yep. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah, and every player we evaluate, we just evaluate off the tape that we have, right? And
absolutely.
And unfortunately, some of these guys too, over the last couple of years have been coming out, they're older, so you kind of take them at face value. But sometimes we talk about the coaching, the system, like
makes a big difference.
The players that go to the Rams, the players that go to the Chiefs, some of these teams, like you have to maybe. That's how Garrett has the Nerd Score Plus now. So it's not just the tape; it's also like the draft status and where they go. Maybe teams like that we can learn over the years and kind of the same thing, kind of put that in the equation. Like, okay, Kyle Shanahan, Ricky Pierce all bump, but like weighted opportunity, which would be like the Rams, and the coaching staff as well. Like just opportunity alone sometimes is all you need. And with having an older Cooper Kupp who's been hurt these last couple of years, like Whittington has at least most likely has a chance to get on the field. If gets on the field, Sean McVay is most likely going to get the best out of him.
All right, never mind. He's a buy.
Some value.
Screw it.
I'm still selling because they're going to draft somebody next year.
Last one, David Njoku. I know we're Browns fans and whatnot, but he's stuck with a bad quarterback. It's not getting better. He's never targeted him much.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. He at least, talking about a guy with a name, he at least still has the name. I have like 4 or 5 guys in that tier I would much rather have. The Goddards, the Crafts, the Fergusons, anybody in that tier I would rather have.
Agreed.
If I could tell you guys what the Browns do to my mental, it's so depressing.
I just brought up one Browns
apathy is
player.
never set in. I can never have anything nice as a Cleveland sports fan ever. It took, it doesn't matter if I'm up 3-1 on the Cubs to win the World Series. It literally took the greatest basketball player, arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, LeBron James, come back down 3-1, even give me my one championship here in my lifetime. Everything's always a circus. Indians have been very steady and good, but still, so they've been to 3 World Series, lost 2 Game 7s. Thank you. My heart hurts. And the Browns have been the laughingstock of the league. The last couple of years, we got Baker.
And we're back.
We're kind of good. And then we traded from some pervy McGurvey guy who can't play football anymore. And I know in my bold prediction show, I had him as a QB1. I was trying to optimize and use my mentals in a positive standpoint, but he was just so bad, he couldn't even fight that off. I should have listened to Crystal Balls. But then he probably would have tried to touch him, and then and a whole different other kind of world of hurt. But maybe I could have retired rich. Who knows? So here we are. I'm just a sad Rich Dotson.
They just settled, by the way, on that other lawsuit. So that thing's not even going to save the Browns.
I was hoping
he would have tried to touch
him.
I know.
Yeah, he probably would have. So my team's the worst team in the NFL. Most expensive offense in the NFL? The worst offense. Literally the worst offense in the NFL.
You know what?
I have season tickets. I paid ungodly amount of money to go watch this
Just go
nonsense.
be sad
I just
every
went to
week.
Las Vegas to go pay even more money to go watch this nonsense. And that's what I do. Week in, week out. I would slap my children. No, I wouldn't. Yes, I would. For Jane Daniels. Would I slap my children? I mean, he's 14. He probably could take it. I don't think he'd call the cops on me.
Would he slap you back? I think that's the biggest
Yeah,
question.
He would. He would.
Sure.
Yeah, he would.
He'd definitely beat me up. That's but I get beaten up by my 14-year-old son for Jane Daniels. Absolutely.
Would I get beaten
I could
up?
buy new teeth. I can't buy a new quarterback. Oh, what I wouldn't do for
We
Jane
tried.
Daniels. What I wouldn't do for any.
I mean, hopefully the billionaire owner sees that throwing a bunch of money at a jerk is not the way to win in the NFL.
Yeah. You got to be careful of those jerks. Too many, you get in trouble.
You're a jerk.
Too many
You're a
jerks.
jerk.
All right, what's our next segment? I'm just so sad.
Well, maybe doing good in this segment will lift your spirits.
Probably not.
Probably not.
The Indians would have won yesterday, maybe, but no.
Maybe. All right, so we haven't done this one in a long time. I thought it would be a fun time to bust it back out. This is Blind Resume.
A lot of Deshaun Watson references here. Surprise!
In this exercise here, I will give you a little clues about these players, and you're gonna have to try to guess who it is. Some of them are more misleading than others, but all of these guys, I will give you one hint at the top. I tried to pick all guys that we do not talk a lot about. So these aren't players that we reference all the time, but they are all obviously current NFL players.
All right,
You ready?
I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. All
Hold
right.
on, let me get. I'm a list person. I need to be able to see. I don't want to see
All
the
like
stats.
the teams. Yeah, don't see the stats. That's cheating.
I know.
What kind of stats am I not supposed to be looking at?
Any.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I need
Right.
names.
That's why.
I have Fantasy Pros open. Is that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's going to tell you how they did.
Oh, what list should I open to get names in?
Maybe your rankings.
Oh, good call.
Rankings. That's
Open
where
your
we'll
rankings.
go.
Yeah, there we go.
I was also looking for. Okay. All right.
All right.
Now I'm
We
ready.
good?
Now I'm ready. Dynasty Nerds rankings are open.
Rich, you ready? You good?
I am ready to rock.
Take the draft picks
All right.
off. It's definitely not going to be a draft pick.
What year is? Okay. All right. Here we go. Number 1. I am a top 10 quarterback on the season, and I have finished in the top 10 each week 4 of the 5 weeks. However, in the preseason, I was not even ranked as a top 18 guy. Who am I?
My guy, Baker Mayfield.
No.
That doesn't sound right.
I mean, that could be true as well. Maybe I messed up. Maybe
What-
there's 2 guys
let me see.
that fit this category.
What is it? One more time.
All right. He has been a top 10 quarterback in 4 of the 5 games this season. And he is a top 10 guy overall on the season. However, in the preseason, he was not even ranked as a top 18 guy. Even in redraft.
Justin Fields?
Not Justin Fields.
Because he doesn't play
Got
very
it.
well.
You got it?
Baker Mayfield.
Still Baker.
Wait, is it Bo Nix?
It's definitely not Bo Nix.
That was a joke.
That one I can say confidently.
That was a joke. Is it Kirk Cousins?
It is not Kirk Cousins.
I'm trying to think, guy like he wasn't even.
It's a very surprise. When I saw, and I'll even give you another hint. He's either 5 or 6 on the season. Like, he's playing very well.
He wasn't ranked high.
the listeners right home are probably screaming at their.
I know, right? Geno
listening
Smith.
device.
It's Geno Smith.
As
Geno
soon as I
Smith.
saw Geno Smith's name crossed, because I had to scroll down really far to get to him.
Where is he ranked? Yeah, Geno Smith is the number 5 quarterback on the season. Now, Baker would have probably fallen in that. I don't know if he was ranked in the top 18 or not. That's where I'm not sure. I think he was ranked as a top 18 guy.
Rich has a lot of stats up here.
Oh no, these are just.
Cheating.
This is these are just week 6.
Just some week 6 projections. All right.
But yeah,
Geno
Geno
Smith
Smith.
for a list of names. That's all.
right.
Geno
Doesn't
Smith,
tell you anything
quarterback
after the year.
5 on the season. What's your guys' thoughts on Geno Smith? Because I don't think any of us were necessarily projecting this. We thought they could be a team looking to replace their quarterback.
Totally. I thought he was toast. And he's come out and run this offense pretty efficiently here. So I guess I wasn't giving Geno Smith enough credit because last year was a little bit weird for him.
It wasn't a great year.
It wasn't a great year for him. They bring in Sam Howell in the offseason. So I wasn't, new coaching staff, who knows how they're going to respond to kind of a leftover quarterback from a previous regime. But I don't see how if you're Mike McDonald, God.
Yeah.
I wanted to call him Mike McDaniel. It's not Mike McDaniel. It's Mike McDonald. If you're Mike McDonald, I don't know how you don't like what you're seeing out of the quarterback position right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he finished as quarterback 19 last year, Geno. So for me, he's got a really good group of weapons, good running game, offensive line's playing really well. So he's totally set up for success. Veteran quarterback, knows what he's doing out.
That defense has been balling
game
too.
Plan, put him in good defense, put him in a good spot, good position there. So do I think he's going to finish the year as quarterback 5? Probably not.
Well, what's their record? I mean, they have a pretty
They're 3-2.
Yeah,
they were 3-0, and then they've had a couple rough ones in a row, but that's not really on Geno. He's been playing well basically every single week. So
yeah, within 5 spots of quarterback 9, Justin Fields here. So could he maintain? For sure. I mean, he's got the weapons to do it. That's a big thing too for a quarterback like Geno, who's mostly going to win with his arm. He needs the weapons. He's got 3 very, very viable weapons there. He's got Noah Fant in the passing game. Both running backs, even Kenneth Walker's not a huge pass catcher, but he's viable, and Zach Charbonnet can strive there. So, yeah, I mean, right now he's on pace. We're about a third of the way through the season, and he's on pace to be a quarterback 1 this year. So pretty shocking. That was a good stat.
Thank you. All right.
I wonder how many people got that at home?
I wonder. I don't know.
I do get a lot of feedback when we play these games. People love to play them at home.
They love to play along. Yeah, they pause and they're like, how did I do? All right, well, let's see people at home. How'd you do on this one? Number 2 here, despite not leading my team in touches at the running back position, I have carved out a nice role on my new team, giving double-digit points every game I've played this season.
New team.
I'll read it again. Despite not leading my team in touches at the running back position, I have carved out a nice role on my new squad, giving double-digit points in every game I've played this season.
Tony Pollard.
Not correct. He does lead his team in running back touches.
Every time I say it so confidently. Oh, man. Double-digit points. That's
J.K. Dobbins?
Tough ones.
Not J.K. Dobbins. He does also lead in touches at the running back position on his team.
I'm trying to think guys that don't lead in touches, that have scored double-digit points. He's on a new team. Josh Jacobs definitely leads his team in touches.
He does.
Aaron Jones definitely leads his team in touches.
Swift leeds his team in
Taylor
touches.
Swift does.
Taylor Swift definitely does.
Definitely
touches of Travis Kelce.
Touch me, please. I think Bigsby's on the same
team.
Zach Moss?
Not Zach Moss. He does lead in touches.
Austin Eckler.
Bingo. Austin Eckler has had double-digit points every single game. Now, he missed one game due to injury, that concussion. But every single game, he's had double-digit points. I kind of was of the feeling that he might be washed. He might be done.
He had some ankle issues going on last
season. But
it made him look like he was slow.
But he's played well. He's played well this season. He's carved out a role in this offense. And despite normally, running quarterbacks and receiving running backs don't go well together always, he's been just fine and startable each and every week. So somebody that would you guys, if you were a contending team and you needed help with your 3rd, 4th running back kind of guy, do you think he's going to continue to be solid enough week in, week out that you would go after him for bye weeks and that kind of thing?
So he's a really interesting guy. I have him on a team that I'm 1-4, and I just won my first week this week. The rest of my team's not bad. It was just one of those fluky things where my team nobody was hitting on all it wasn't hitting on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. It's starting to. So I'm torn between, do I send Austin Eckler and some other old veterans off of my team and kind of just play for next year, or do I wait another week or two to see
what's going to happen.
If all these guys kind of come back together and everything is going to be fine, and I rip off 2 or 3 in a row. And Austin Eckler to me is so I'm in this weird zone where I think I could contend in this league. I could also just blow it up and get rid of these guys. So I'm having this kind of internal struggle right now with a guy like Austin Eckler. So it is kind of difficult. I think I may be too close to this one to figure it out right here. But if I'm a contender, and I know I'm a contender, I think Austin Eckler is going to be a guy that's valuable.
Valuable to an extent. I mean, even on a points per game basis, he's averaging 11.8. He's running back 29. He's going to get you
double digits.
Yeah, he's running back 29 on a points per game basis on the year. He's not a running back 2 even
on a bye week though.
On a week,
that's what you need. Like, just give me double-digit points.
Yeah, a flex play. The fact that he's a pass catcher running back 2 seems like he's more safe than these other running backs you could trade for.
Sure.
I guess the most I'd give up for Austin Eckler is probably a second if I'm a contender, like a late second. So
I don't even know if you'd have to. You might be able to get away with like the 2/3 kind of thing. Like,
listen, for 2/3 contender, I'm happy to pay that. Like, happy to pay that.
And honestly, if I'm in rebuild and somebody offered me 2/3 for Austin Eckler,
I'd probably take it.
I would probably take it.
I would really shop him around for the second and try and just get the second.
Second is the minimum I would take for him. In the position that I'm in, it might even be a little bit more than that because I'm not quite.
In a rebuild, you wouldn't give him up for 2/3?
No. In a rebuild,
where you would give to get him.
The scenario that I just said,
sure.
That I'm like kind of teetering on whether or not I want to blow it up or kind of contend. You'd have to probably pry him away from you with a little bit more than a second, personally.
Yeah, yeah. Other running backs, I would pay. Yeah, I'd pay the seconds the most I would pay. But I'd also go out and entertain for the same possible factor who's looked really good so far over the last 2 weeks, which is Kareem Hunt. On a points per basis, he's running back 18 on the year. He had 10.5, 18.7. He's averaging 14.6 points per game.
He looks spry, too.
He did look spry.
Surprisingly spry.
Is that a lot of...
Because we've been watching him on the Browns look pretty sluggish and slow.
Yeah, lost his explosiveness. So that's where I would start first for the 2/3 for a guy like Kareem Hunt, who's probably going to get more touches than Austin Eckler. I would still approach, depends on what team he is, like James Conner owners, which you probably won't be able to get him because he's probably not a contender. But another guy that I'm also going to approach is like the Zach Moss owners, who's been, again, he's not electric, but still it kind of falls right into that Austin Eckler category.
Sure.
But almost guaranteed more touches than Austin Eckler. So definitely in on Austin Eckler for 2/3. Would pay a second if I'm a contender, but I would much rather offer like 2/3. I would see who I can get for the cheaper option of him and like Kareem Hunt. Right now. Because right now with Pacheco, it looks like Kareem Hunt right now has a lock on all the carries as a guy for the Kansas City Chiefs going forward.
Yep.
For a team that's usually going to get ahead of most game scripts there too, so they're going to run the ball a little more than other teams. So I think Kareem Hunt might be a better option and a cheaper option.
There we go. All right, let's get to the next one here. I am the only tight end to have the last 3 straight weeks, so from week 3, week 4, week 5, I'm the only tight end to have double-digit production in each and every one of those weeks. And I even did it without scoring a touchdown in any of those games.
Jake Ferguson.
Boom. On it.
I have him on my team.
You're aware of it. He's like, I am keenly aware how good he's been the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, he my 2 points per catch for tight ends, which is, again, this is my first year playing in 2 point. You're in that league too, the anniversary league. The first year I've ever played in, usually it's 1.5 points for tight end premium, which is good, right?
Sure.
Never did I ever think that 0.5 points per catch would make such a drastic difference. But boy, oh boy, do those tight ends like to score 19, 20 points per game.
They're pretty sweet.
Without scoring touchdowns. Jake for 19 points here. It's fun. Do you like it?
I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So I'll say this.
Especially in a year like this when it's just been doo-doo butter all over the place at the tight end position, it's still fun.
They're all good. I was like, man, I think I could do
next year it's going to be 25 to 30.
Because I was going to guess Tucker Kraft, who's been balling.
He's been playing very good.
Scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
He scored 2 the other day.
Yeah, he had a great game. But when I'm looking at Jake Ferguson, like there are bigger names. There are younger guys that are more exciting. If you told me, hey, at the end of the season, Jake Ferguson actually has the most points at the position, it would not shock me. But he's not going to be nearly as expensive, even as probably Travis Kelce at this point, now that he's kind of back and they're utilizing him a ton again. He's obviously not going to cost nearly as much as all of the young guys, the Laportas and Kincaids and those guys. Like, I think bang for your buck, Jake Ferguson might be the best tight end to go get.
I mean, he's only running back 9, so it's not like he's
Tight end 9.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, tight end 9.
Leonard Fournette
all over again. So it's not like he's like blowing the doors off, right?
Right.
Where people are like, I can't get rid of him. He's tight end 1, which is Brock Bowers, of course. So I think bang for your buck right now, Jake Ferguson probably one of the better buys. I mean, he had the week 1 was a dud. But
it was because he was hurt.
Got hurt, then didn't play week 2. But ever since then, 15 points, 15.5, 11.9, 13 points. So he's really been producing. The Brendan Cooks injury now, like his production's even going to go up even higher. He was already the number 1 red zone threat on that team.
And if he dare score a touchdown, he just hasn't scored yet.
Right.
So for him to put up these numbers without scoring.
Yeah. I mean, last week was a Jalen Tolbert show. That just every target went to Jalen Tolbert. Like, everyone, which is good for him. Like the player that we kind of liked his tape for, and just kind of never really blossomed there. And Dallas kind of really took a big step forward this past week. I mean, smothered in targets. But Jake Ferguson, I would expect it's Brandon Cook news. He's going to be out for he's on IR now, actually. So he's out for at least 4 games. They put him on IR.
He had an infection in his knee.
Yeah, he had a scoped or something.
From a procedure that he had. So that's bad news.
That's not great.
That could take a little while.
Yeah, it's Jake Ferguson. Goodbye.
Hey, Nerd Herd, Dynasty Nerds has an incredible new offer from Underdog Fantasy for new customers. When you sign up as a new customer, you'll get a chance at their new customer free pick. But that's not all. Underdog is also offering incredible deposit bonuses. Use the promo code NERDS when you first sign up, and Underdog will give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit. That's right, $1,000 to kickstart your fantasy football journey. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog app. Sign up today with promo code NERDS and start your journey to fantasy football glory today. Must be 18, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. And in Tennessee, call 1-800-889-9789.
Who's next?
All right, next one here. I am a rookie wide receiver. Despite not having the most eye-popping numbers so far, I have the highest average separation score, or according to Fantasy Points data, in the class at 8th in the NFL.
Lad McConkey.
It is not Lad
You
McConkey.
son of a... So wait.
So
say
it's
it again. I already made
You
up my
are
mind.
already locked in.
You said separate. Like I already locked in. I tuned you out. So I got Slab McConkey. I'm about to nail this one like I nailed Jake.
I'm a rookie wide receiver. Despite not having the most eye-popping numbers so far, I have the highest average separation score in the class at 8th in the NFL.
It can't be Keon Coleman, right?
It's not Keon
Okay.
Coleman.
All right.
But I will say this. It is, even looking at the profile of the receiver, he would have been toward the bottom of my list of guys I would have expected.
Okay. So it's got to be somewhat of a...
Adonai Mitchell?
Not Adonai Mitchell.
Xavier Legette.
Not Leggett. No.
Just naming them all now.
Just going in my order.
It's not Jalen Polk, is it?
No, he can't get any separate.
Jalen Polk.
Is it really?
Get out of
It's
here.
Jalen Polk.
That guy can't separate that well.
That's why this shocked me. When I saw him at 8th, Malik Neighbors is at 10.
Yeah.
So he's the only other receiver in the top 10 at this. And all the other guys like on the list make sense. Like they're players that are quick, good route runners.
Yeah.
And then it's Jalen Polk.
People are just going to... they forget about
They're
him.
just not
let him
paying
go.
attention.
Yeah.
They said they're going to run the ball. Just keep running.
Yeah, they're like, Jacoby can't throw that far. Just keep going. He's like, well, it's a lot of separation. They're at the 10-yard line. Jalen Polk's run down the opponent's 40.
Jalen
like, wow.
Polk, you're running the wrong way.
He's getting separation.
He's got 50 yards of separation. He's like Forrest Gump out there.
Just kidding, Jalen Polk. But
I'm not.
That one,
The profile does not make sense.
I knew
for
that you
one.
were trying to trick us based
Right.
off the question, so I started with the people that I would have expected it to be the very least, which was Keon Coleman, and then I kind of went up the ladder, and then I just dropped all the way.
Just drop it down,
like all the way to bottom.
Yeah, I didn't see this one coming, and I do think it's a good stat because you look at a lot of the other players in there, and you're like, yeah, like they're good players and they get separation. I do think this legitimately could be just an anomaly because they're just not a passing threat. Like maybe that'll change with Drake May. Hopefully it will.
I can finally watch some Patriots games because I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch any Patriots film.
It's not fun.
It's hard to watch. It's great to fall asleep to.
I really don't. Red Zone, they're on the Red Zone, which isn't often either. I'll get them in there. But now that Drake May's in, I'm gonna watch.
It's like watching the Miami Dolphins without Tua. It's just very hard.
Oh, that is hard to do. Trying to watch my boy Achane and Tyreek, and you're just like, oh man. Well, I take it back. Tyreek's not my boy. My boy Achane, and then watching other players such as Tyreek Hill
and Jalen Waddle,
such as
last two here.
Therefore, such as.
Here we go. I am getting lots of red zone opportunities with the 6th most carries, and I've also gotten 2 additional targets in the receiving game. However, it has only resulted in me being the 20th scoring running back on the season, and I might be slowly losing my job to my backup. Want me to read that again?
Mm-hmm.
Getting lots of red zone opportunities with the 6th most carries and even an additional 2 targets in the receiving game. However, it has only resulted in me being the 20th rated running back or the 20th highest scoring running back on the season, and I might be slowly losing my job to my backup.
That Ramondre Stevenson?
It is not.
Okay.
He's the 20th running back this season. So he is still an RB2, but we've also had buys and things like that, so he would normally be lower.
I think of guys that might be losing their job to the other running back. Chuba Hubbard?
It's not Chuba. Give you a hint. You were talking about him quite a bit earlier.
Tony Pollard?
Nope.
Quite a bit earlier.
In this game.
Kenneth Walker?
No. In this game.
Oh.
This was actually my 3rd one. I skipped it because you were talking about him so much right before it. So I put this one down lower.
Memory like a fish.
Travis Etienne.
Nope.
No, that was not this game.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I was so confused.
Tell me when.
A running back that was losing his. That's the big thing.
This was right after the Austin Eckler one. We were talking about this.
I remember
When
the
we were
Austin
talking about
Eckler.
Austin Eckler.
I remember Austin Eckler.
I'll read it one more time.
Is it Zach Moss?
It's Zach Moss. 20th on the season scoring wise. He has the 6th most carries in the red zone, an additional 2 targets in the receiving game.
Who's Zach Moss?
The guy that you were like, oh yeah, he's a good buy for that price.
Oh, I thought Joe Mixon was losing his job to Darwin Ogunbowale.
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that backfield? Chase Brown got some run this week, got a goal line touchdown even, which was a bit surprising. Do we think that Zach Moss holds off Chase Brown the rest of the season, or does Chase Brown become the feature back?
On yesterday's show, I had made a comment, and then Peter turned it into a YouTube TikTok video. A lot of comments are telling me I'm an idiot, saying that I think Chase Brown's the number 1 sell right now. Because the same thing like that, like he's getting a little bit more run. Mm-hmm. He's had his average is nice, but like I don't believe him as a long-term starter and running back whatsoever. I don't think he has the capabilities to be a long-term starting running back. If he proves me wrong, sweet. I'm wrong. I'm wrong again.
I think he maxes out as like a Chuba Hubbard
Sure.
type for me.
That's a good comp.
Like a high-end backup, but a low-end starter.
Correct. So
like we saw out of Zamir and Madison and guys like that.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Zach Moss, he's not the same kind of player as Chase Brown or Chuba Hubbard, which I think both those guys win with kind of speed.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also
falls into that same.
They're replaceable level guys.
High end RB2s, low end RB1s.
They really are.
Yeah.
And so I Zach Moss is going down now with whatever was it, ankle. Is that what he had?
They reported today, though, that they said it was no big deal. It shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, Zach Moss is averaging 2 points per game, 2.2 points more points per game than Chase Brown.
He is.
It falls in that committee.
But more opportunities, too.
Yeah, it falls in that category of a timeshare backfield, right, where neither guy is fantastic. where neither guy are probably the long-term answers, in my opinion. Zach Moss has bounced around the league continually. Every time he gets a chance, like he's a solid NFL running back for sure.
Definitely.
Like he that's why he got signed to be the starter here. But nobody here saw Zach Moss as a long-term starter in Cincinnati. They're another team that will probably end up drafting one of these really good young running backs, which I think, and I said on yesterday's show, like I view Cincinnati as one of these teams where we'll go get one of these young guys higher in the draft.
I feel like Trayvon's going to end up there.
That was the exact same person I was just thinking.
It just feels like it would fit.
Since
I
he
feel
likes
like
those
you,
Ohio State players.
I feel like you were just in my brain. Get out of my brain.
Yeah, so I think he gets relegated back to like just a backup running back. But like, even less now. So to me, I said yesterday's injury show that I think Chase Brown's one of the number one sell targets in my opinion on Chase Brown. Not to say like he can't come out here, but like even if he's like he gets a little bit more carries than Zach Moss and Zach Moss falls in the Chase Brown role, you're still kind of like running back 18 to 24, which is solid, which is a starter, but like
if somebody sees more than that,
and most people will. Somebody will.
And some hope with some upside or something like that, then sell. If they're going to overpay, in your opinion, sell. I do agree with you. I think he is a good sell.
I would love to get a first for him if I could, which is hard to do, but I just saw Matt like.
I told you were crazy.
Yeah. There's no way. Which there's no way. But if I can give to somebody who needs a running back, hey, I'll give you Chase Brown in my second for your first.
You might. That's probably the high end, but that you might be able to do that.
Yeah, I think you could do that. Definitely if Zach Moss misses this week somehow, and then like Chase Brown gets more carries this week, it's probably not to move right now, but it's like it is like your question was like it's kind of trending that way a little bit.
Yeah,
like there's gonna be a window here that's gonna open soon.
If he has a Tank Bigsby game, then
and even I don't care. He could have a 40-point game. I'm still out.
Okay, all right, last one. Despite not being on the field early this season, I have racked up the carries the past 2 weeks. And I've been incredibly efficient, sporting the lowest stuff rate in the NFL. So stuff rate is basically 3 yards or less, unless it's like touchdown or first down.
Kareem Hunt?
It is. It's Kareem Hunt.
Is it?
That's exactly who it is.
I thought he tried to trick us by saying I didn't play much this early in the season.
They didn't.
How about none at all?
Not at all.
I said, despite not being on the field early in the season, that was true.
Oh, okay.
He was not on the field. But
great buy, by the way.
So it was funny that you literally mentioned Zach Moss and Kareem Hunt. I'm like, I'm going to put those two questions at the end. Give us some time in between because you literally just brought them up. But I did want to say,
great buys. That's what I'm saying. They're the best values.
Honestly, like I truly believe this. For rest of season, I think Kareem Hunt's an RB1. Like, I truly believe he will be an RB1 rest of the season. You look at how much Andy Reid is looking to use the running back. Isaiah Pacheco was on pace to be a running back one. Carson Steele, they don't trust him. He's fumbled. Right. Like, it's not happening. Samaje Perine, he's fine in the receiving game, but that's about it at this point.
He's an ancillary piece.
He had 27 carries in last night's game.
Look good.
Kareem Hunt is going to be getting enough work. And look, it's not like they're going to manage his workload. They couldn't care less. Run him into the ground. So I truly think rest of season from week 5 on, and obviously he's got a little boost from having a good game last night, but from week 5 on, I think he's a running back one. And I think fairly easily, honestly.
I fired him up in my starting lineup this week, won by like 2 points.
I got you in the Invitational League because of Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
And Pat Mahomes didn't put up a lot, and Kareem Hunt did. So, yeah, I maybe I'm a little too bullish, but I honestly think like top 12 running back rest of the year fairly easily.
I fired him up easily. I just threw him in my line. Was like, this is going to be a good game for him. I know it.
Yep.
And
why does Fantasy Pros not have the newest week for Kareem Hunt?
They're on bye this week. Chiefs are on bye.
This week, though.
You're saying they don't have
last week?
It might just be too early. I mean, it just happened last night.
Yeah, it has to be because I have it weeks 4 through 5 here. And I want to see where Kareem Hunt stood, but he was on there before, which was weird.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, they have him as running back 48, but they have it as no points this past week.
They have a couple other players that are that way too.
I'm sure it'll get updated. I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
Interesting. Usually it's pretty quick because that'd put him probably as the top 5 running back almost on the week. And over the last 2 weeks, I would have to guess.
I would guess so too. And if you click on his name, it might tell you as well.
I mean, this is fascinating, you know. us just doing research right
Listen
here
to
on
us
the
scroll and try to find where he was.
Kareem Hunt, I mean, great buy. I every league I still have my Kareem Hunt shares. I'm firing him up as well. I'm getting my lineups in PPR leagues. I'm with you, Garrett. I think he's going to be a very good chance to be a running back one for the rest of the year, just because same thing like Isaiah Pacheco. Kind of like when I was talking about, like, I would sell Isaiah Pacheco beforehand because that news, I said that once the news broke on that Josh Jacobs came out, like, yeah, the Chiefs tried real hard to get me, but I couldn't go to that football team. It's like, wow, they're trying to get out from Isaiah Pacheco. They're trying to get a long-term answer here. So another guy they'll probably draft a really good running back in this draft. I mean, this is the same team that wasn't afraid to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 32. Wouldn't be surprised if they grabbed another running back if they're.
Absolutely. So 2 weeks ago, he had 14 carries for 69 yards, 10.5 points, finishes running back 28 on the week. This week, like I said, 27 attempts, 102 yards, got the touchdown, even got a reception for 15 yards, running back 5 on the week at 18.7 points.
Yeah, and you can look for that as long as he stays healthy going the rest of the year. I know they brought Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the pop, but there's nobody even there to even compete.
Nope.
We saw Samaje Perine is just a secondary running back in the pass catching game, but Kareem Hunt could do that very well, extremely well, honestly. So it's literally a running back they don't not have to take off the field. Like, he checks all the boxes for him. And that's why I brought him up. When we said, hey, instead of going out and getting Austin Eckler, like, Kareem Hunt's probably a much cheaper. For any contender out there, like, I'm immediately offering 2/3 for Kareem Hunt on my roster to see if I get him.
And I, at this point, would be holding strong for like a mid-second, even if I'm in rebuild, because I think we'll see. All right, if you don't want to buy this week, I'll wait one more week, because I think next week he'll do the same thing.
Somebody will.
And eventually I'm going to get that mid-second that I want.
Yeah, if you do hold strong, you're right. He's probably going to start producing to a level where, like, he will get the second.
Yeah.
Like pretty quickly.
And he might be the kind of guy where you can pair with another item and get yourself a first-round pick or something.
Love it. All right, we're back next week. Thanks, Nerd Herd.
Adios.